If I told you that 78% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, even those making good money, would you believe it? I'm talking about people making $50K, $75K, even $100K a year, who can't scrape together $1,000 in their bank account. And what if I told you this isn't financial incompetence? It's not lack of education, it's not bad luck, but rather a system perfectly designed to keep you trapped. A system so well architected that the more you earn, the more trapped you become. Today I'm revealing the 3 brutal truths they don't want you to know about why the American middle class is broke. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why, even making $100,000 a year, you might be financially poorer than someone making $40,000. I know, because I was that person. And if you stay until the end, I'll tell you exactly how I discovered this rigged game and how you can escape it. Because there's no point showing you the problem without giving you the real solution. First, let's establish the facts. And I always bring real data to this channel. This isn't empty motivational talk. According to a 2023 CareerBuilder study that surveyed over 3,200 full-time American workers, 78% of them live paycheck to paycheck. That means if they lost their job today, they'd be on the street in 30 days. Pause for absorption. But here's the data that will shock you. Of that 78%, over half make above $50,000 per year, and 28% make over $100,000 per year. So this isn't about earning too little, it's about something else entirely. Now you might think, well, they just spend too much, they're irresponsible. And I used to think that too, until I discovered there's an entire industry, worth billions, that depends on you being unable to save money. And the more you earn, the more interesting you become to this industry. So let me explain how this money-sucking machine they created actually works, and why you're probably already inside it without even knowing it. The first truth they don't want you to know: the American system is designed, when I say designed, I mean literally planned, to make you spend more when you earn more. They even gave it a pretty name, lifestyle inflation. But it's much more sinister than it sounds. Here's how it works. You get a promotion, your salary jumps from $50K to $70K. That's $20,000 extra per year. $1,600 extra per month. In theory, you should have more money left over. Right? Wrong. What happens? First you think, now I can live somewhere better. Rent goes from $1,200 to $1,800. There goes $600 of those extra $1,600. Then you think, my car is old, now I can finance something better. The payment goes from $300 to $650. Another $350 of the extras disappeared. Next comes, I'll eat better, take better care of my health. Food spending goes from $400 to $700 per month. Another $300 flew away. And here's the genius move of the system. They make every step of this escalation easier. You earn more, your credit limit increases automatically. You didn't even ask for it. The bank calls offering platinum cards, pre-approved financing, premium accounts. Let me give you a real example. I knew this guy. Software engineer, 32 years old. He was making $60K, saving $500 per month. Got a new job making $95K. Guess how much he was saving a year later? $0 per month. How is this possible? Better apartment plus $800/month. Better car plus $400/month. More expensive outings plus $300/month. Better clothes plus $200/month. Gadgets and electronics plus $150/month. Premium gym plus $100/month. That's $1,950 in extra monthly expenses. He was taking home $2,900 more per month. Less than $1,000 left over. But then come the unexpected expenses, the little luxuries, the extra outings, and goodbye savings. Result: a person who made $60K and saved $6K per year, when they start making $95K, save $0 per year. The extra money doesn't go to investments, it goes to higher interest payments, bigger installments, and a more expensive lifestyle they can no longer abandon. Now comes the second brutal truth. And this one will make you angry. The American system depends on you always owing money, And I'm not exaggerating. Might assist in witty. It's literally the business model. Listen to this number and let it sink into your mind. The average American has $6,194 in credit card debt, paying only the minimum at an average 18% annual interest. How long do you think it takes to pay off? 30 years, 30 years. And in the end, they'll have paid over $18,000, almost triple the original amount. But that's just the beginning of the strategy. Because here's the dirtiest part. They made it impossible for you to live without credit in America. It's a system of forced dependency. Want to rent an apartment? Need a minimum credit score of 650. Want to finance a car? Need credit history. Want a postpaid cell phone plan? Credit score. Want to open a bank account? Credit history. Want a job at some companies? They check your credit. But to have credit, you need to go into debt first. It's the perfect paradox. To prove you can pay debts, you need to have debts. I came to the United States 8 years ago. In Brazil, I had decent assets, clean financial history. I got here and you know what my credit score was? 0. I couldn't even rent an apartment. I had to get a secured credit card, meaning I deposited $1,000 to get a $500 limit. And then the game began to improve my score. I had to use the card, but not too much. Pay on time, but leave a small balance to show I used credit. And here's the brilliant part of the trap. Once you enter the system, they do everything to make sure you never leave. Because a debt-free customer is a customer who generates no profit. Let me tell you about Jennifer, a 29-year-old nurse I met in Seattle. She was making $72,000 a year. €9 is an excellent salary. But she couldn't save even $1,000. Let's break down the numbers. Net salary, $4, $300 month. Rent, $1,900. Car, $850. She financed a Honda Accord because she needed something reliable. Credit cards, $480 minimum payment. She had $24K accumulated from emergencies. Health insurance, $320. Food, $600. Bound $80. Internet, $60. Bound $80. Internet, $60. Gym, $80. Streaming, $45. Car insurance, $150. Pause for calculation. Adding it all up, $4,765. She was making $4,300. A deficit of $465 per month that went onto the credit card. And so the debt just kept growing. But the worst part, Jennifer wasn't irresponsible. She didn't go out partying, didn't buy designer clothes, didn't travel. She was a hard-working, educated person who was simply trapped in a system that turned her income into cash flow for banks and creditors. And here we reach the third truth, the most brutal of all. The American middle class is a carefully constructed illusion to keep you working and spending until you die. They sold an entire generation the idea that making $75,000 a year makes you upper middle class, that you've made it, that you can have the American dream. But let me do the real math with you. $75,000 salary per year. Sounds like a lot, right? Let's see how much is actually left. First, taxes. And it's not just federal income tax. It's federal income tax, state tax, Social Security, Medicare, unemployment. In the end, you lose between 22 and 28% depending on the state. Let's be conservative. 24%. There go $18,000, $57,000 left. $4,750 per month. Now the mandatory expenses of the American middle class, housing, they say it can't exceed 30% of net income, so $1,425 per month. But good luck finding anything decent for that price in any major city. Reality, $1,800 to $2,200. Car, because in the US you can't live without a car. Financing, $500. Insurance, $150. Gas, $200. Maintenance, $100. Total $950 per month. Health insurance, the crown jewel of the American system. Decent family plan, $800 per month. And that's just the premium. Any serious problem, you still pay $1, $5K to $10K deductible. So far, $2,200. Housing plus $950. Car plus $800. Health equals sign $3,950. Out of $4,750, $800 remains for everything else. Food, clothes, phone, internet, utilities, emergencies, entertainment, savings. $800 for a family to live the rest of their life. And I haven't even counted children yet. Daycare, $1,500 per month. Per child. College fund, at least $300 per month. Per child. So they don't graduate owing $100,000. Let me tell you my story. When I arrived here, making $78,000 a year, I thought I had reached the top. In Brazil, that would be equivalent to about $25,000 per month. I felt rich. 3 months later, I looked at my bank account and had $1,200, even making over $6,000 net per month. How was this possible? Apartment in decent area, $2,100, because the cheap ones were in places I didn't feel safe. Used but reliable car, $650 financing. Health plus dental plus vision insurance, $420. Organic food because I wanted to take care of my health, $800. Gym, $90. Good internet for work, $80. Phone, $85. Electricity, water, trash, $200. Work clothes for a tech company, $300 per month. Average weekend outings to not just stay home, $400. Total $5,125. Less than $1,000 per month left over. And any unexpected expense, mice flat tire, dentist, trip to see family in Brazil, ate up that reserve. I was making almost $80,000 a year and living like I was poor. And the worst part, thinking it was my fault that I was spending too much. But I didn't come here just to complain about the system. I came to teach you how I discovered the rules of the game and how you can play to win. The solution has 3 pillars, and pay attention. It's not about making more money. I know people making $200K who are broke, and people making $65K who have $300K invested. The difference isn't income mine. It's the wisdom. Pillar 1, breaking the lifestyle inflation cycle. First pillar. You need to break the lifestyle inflation cycle. And here's the golden rule. Every promotion, every salary increase, goes 100% to investments for the first 2 years. 100%. No exceptions. Practical example. You make $50K, get a $70K job. Keep living on $50K. The extra $20K, straight to investments. But I deserve to live better. You will live better, minors, when your investments are generating enough passive income. Pillar 2, total war against the debit system. Second pillar, declare total war on the credit system. It's not just about paying off debt. It's about never going into debt for consumption again. Never again. Simple rule. If you can't pay cash, you can't buy it. But what about a car? Used car. But what about a house? Rent until you have at least 50% down payment. But what about emergencies? That's what a 6-month expense emergency fund is for. Pillar 3, rich mindset, not middle class. Third pillar, stop thinking like middle class and start thinking like the wealthy. Rich people don't buy new cars. Rich people invest and let investments pay for the car. Rich people don't rent expensive apartments to impress. Rich people buy real estate to rent out and live simply. The fundamental difference, middle class works for money. Rich people make money work for them. Middle class buys liabilities, thinking they're assets. Rich people buy assets that generate cash flow. Let me finish by telling you what happened when I applied this in practice. At 28, making $85,000. I had $2,300 invested. Pathetic. That's when I understood the game was different. I decided to maintain my standard of living from when I made $50K and invest $1 the difference. Did it seem crazy? To my friends, yes. To my bank account 4 years later. Genius. Result today. At 32, I have over $180,000 invested. And the best part, my investments generate more per month than I used to make in salary back then. That's real financial freedom. If this video opened your mind, I need you to do 4 things right now. First, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell. Tuesday and Friday, I bring content that can change your financial life forever. Second, go to the comments and answer me. What's your current income? And how much did you invest last month? Be brutally honest. I'll respond personally, and maybe even make a video about your situation. Third, share this video with someone you love who's trapped in this system, because the system only works when everyone is ignorant. And fourth, in the next video, I'm telling the complete story of how I got out of $47,000 in debt in 18 months. It'll be a complete masterclass with spreadsheets, strategies, and mistakes that almost broke me. Remember, the truth may hurt, but it's the only thing that sets you free. See you next time.